Well, several recent and highly touted NFL draft picks have had enough opportunities with their current clubs to put it together. And, well, it hasn't quite panned out, and I think it's time to move on. So with that being said, how about we dive into 10 recent NFL draft busts who could revive their careers on a new team. Anthony Richardson, Cleveland Browns. No, the Indianapolis Colts aren't ready to give up on Richardson. I mean, they used the number 4 pick on him 2 years ago. And all but 4 games of his rookie year were wiped out by injury. I mean, come on, you can't give up on a guy after 17 starts over 2 seasons. Or can you? You see, Richardson was once regarded as the ultimate boomer-bust prospect. His supreme athleticism was never in question. But his accuracy and decision-making were always red flags. And, so far, no cigar. In 11 starts last season, Richardson completed a paltry 47.7% of pass attempts for 1,814 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. And, hey, don't blame his supporting cast. This guy has Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs, and a rock-solid offensive line in front of him. We honestly do not hate the Colts signing of Daniel Jones as a potential reclamation project and competition for Richardson. But what if Indy traded Richardson now and just handed Danny Dimes the starting gig for 2025? The Browns are bound to cut Deshaun Watson in his toxic contract next year. 40-year-old Joe Flacco is not going to be the answer. So if Kenny Pickett couldn't succeed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, why would he become the guy in Cleveland? Well, looking at the QB-needy teams that are around the league, the Browns sort of make the most sense for Richardson. Kevin Stefanski got the most out of Kirk Cousins way back when in 2019 as the Minnesota Vikings offensive coordinator. He got the pre-Tampa Bay Buccaneers version of Baker Mayfield to lead the Browns to the playoffs in 2020. I mean, heck, he got Joe freaking Flacco to get his group back into the postseason in 2023. So, yeah, we think that Stefanski could get the most out of Richardson here. The Browns are a rush-first offense anyway, and they have one of the league's best O-lines led by Jack Conklin, Wyatt Teller, and Joel Bitonio. Throw in their deep set of pass catchers, and Cleveland is the ideal landing spot for Richardson to get a fresh start and put it all together. And if Jones flops in Indy, then he'll just help their chances of tanking for Arch Manning anyway. It's a win-win. Tyree Wilson, Detroit Lions. The Las Vegas Raiders selected Wilson with the number 7 pick in 2023, hoping that he would form a dynamic pass-rushing tandem alongside superstar Max Crosby. So far, however, the results have been disappointing. Wilson only played 44% of the Raiders' snaps as a rookie in 2023. Though he got increased playing time in 2024, Wilson was only a starter for 4 games. And through his first 2 seasons, Wilson has just 8 sacks. Wilson finished with a meh Pro Football Focus grade of 66.7 in 2024, including a disappointing pass rush grade of 57.2. So, in other words, he's a replaceable level player. Remember, new minority owner Tom Brady, GM John Spytek, and head coach Pete Carroll weren't here when the last regime selected Wilson. So, if the Raiders don't think he can contribute, why not pull the plug early? The Detroit Lions would be a pretty great landing spot for Wilson, all things considered. I mean, we all saw how terrible their pass rush was in 2024 when Aiden Hutchinson suffered a season-ending injury, and Dan Campbell would really welcome Wilson as a depth piece there. Detroit could throw Wilson into a starting role and see if he can hit his stride in Motor City. Since Campbell's arrival in 2021, very few coaches have done a better job in getting the most out of their players. Just saying. Evan Neal, San Francisco 49ers. You may recall that Neal was once considered an early favorite to be the first overall pick in what was considered a weak 2022 NFL draft. Though the classes turned out to be a bit better than expected, Neal has easily been the biggest disappointment thus far. 2 picks after taking Oregon defensive end Kayvon Thibodeau, the New York Giants took Neal with the number 7 pick, having acquired the selection in a deal with the Chicago Bears a year earlier. However, Neal was limited to 29 games over his first 3 seasons because of injury. He also only made 14 total starts over the 2023 and 2024 campaigns. According to Pro Football Focus, Neal committed 6 penalties in 2024 and finished with a brutal 49.6 pass blocking grade, placing him 111th among 140 graded tackles. We'd like to see Neal get a change of scenery, and the 49ers might be the best landing spot here. The 49ers have a void on the O-line after losing standout guard Aaron Banks to the Green Bay Packers in free agency. Neal could line up at tackle or at guard, and maybe an offensive wizard head coach like Kyle Shanahan and his staff could actually help Neal get comfortable at home. Now, in Neal's defense, the Giants O-line has been, well, one of football's worst over the past decade. But with a better supporting cast around him, Neal might actually hit his ceiling. His strength has always been run blocking, and the 49ers excel in that department more than just about any other club. Neal could do a whole lot worse than blocking for Christian McCaffrey. Myles Murphy, Washington Commanders. Oof. Did the Cincinnati Bengals ever strike out after taking the Clemson defensive end with the number 28 pick in 2023? I mean, so far, Murphy has produced 0 starts and 3 sacks, all from his rookie season. He played 28% of Cincy's defensive snaps in 2023 and only 40% in 2024. Last season, PFF had his run defense grade down at 48.6. Yeah, that is, absolutely atrocious. We know. The Bengals should probably just quit while they're ahead and trade Murphy. You know, if he hits the block, the Commanders could come a-callin'. Commanders head coach Dan Quinn has a rich history of developing random dudes into stud pass rushers, dating all the way back to his time as the Seattle Seahawks defensive coordinator in the Legion of Boom era. So who knows, maybe he could help Murphy turn a corner and form a scary pass rushing tandem with Daron Payne. Jahan Dotson, Denver Broncos. Looking for a capable number 2 receiver to complement Terry McLaurin, the Commanders took the Penn State wideout with the number 16 pick in 2022. Dotson showed promise as a rookie with 35 catches for 523 yards and an impressive TD total of 7. But that was peak Dotson in DC. After catching 49 passes for 518 yards and 4 touchdowns in 2023, the Commanders decided to give up and trade him to the NFC East rival Philadelphia Eagles ahead of the 2024 campaign. Yeah, Dotson didn't do much on the Eagles despite winning a Super Bowl 59 ring, as he caught just 19 passes for 216 yards in the regular season. Yeah, I don't know. Clearly, it ain't working out in the NFC East. But hey, the Denver Broncos really could use some more pass-catching depth behind veterans Cortland Sutton and Evan Ingram. And Broncos head coach Sean Payton is one of the best offensive-minded coaches ever. So, who's to say that he couldn't unlock Dotson's potential with rising star QB Bo Nix? It's worth taking a flyer if you're Denver. You know, assuming the Eagles are actually ready to give up on him. Trevor Penning, Los Angeles Rams. The Saints got ultra-aggressive at the 2022 NFL Draft. For starters, they gave up their 2023 first-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles as a part of a package to pick up an extra 2022 first-round selection. They also moved up via the Washington Commanders to take Ohio State wide receiver Chris Olave at number 11 overall, and for the most part, that move has panned out very nicely. But with the number 19 selection via the Eagles, the Saints took Northern Iowa offensive lineman Trevor Penning. And at the time, New Orleans already had a top-tier O-line led by Ryan Ramczyk and Eric McCoy. So far, the Penning selection has been a bit of a disaster. He missed all but 6 games in his rookie year due to injury and only made 5 starts in 2023, all thanks to his struggles in the blocking game. Penning finally became a regular starter in 2024, but the results were lackluster. A 60.2 overall grade from Pro Football Focus and a woeful 51.6 pass blocking grade that ranked 104th among 140 offensive tackles. Penning also committed 13 penalties and allowed 5 sacks. So, in other words, it's just time to move on already. The Los Angeles Rams jump out as the ideal landing spot for Penning. Since, Sean McVay arrived in 2017, the Rams have developed a reputation for churning out quality offensive linemen year in and year out. The Rams traded Jonah Jackson to the Chicago Bears, and veteran Rob Havenstein is entering his age 33 season. This feels like a pretty good opportunity for the Rams to take a flyer on Penning and see if their world-class coaching system can maybe unlock his potential once and for all. Traylon Burks, Cincinnati Bengals. The Titans made a giant mistake by trading A.J. Brown to the Philadelphia Eagles at the 2022 draft, then believing that they could replace him by using the number 18 pick on Traylon Burks. Burks' career has been, a letdown thus far. Injuries have held him to 27 games over 3 seasons, and he's only mustered 53 catches for 699 yards and a single touchdown, with the bulk of those coming in his rookie season. Yeah, I think it's time for the Titans to wave the white flag and give Burks a new home. And if he is ever to flourish in the NFL, he sure as heck better be paired with an elite QB. Something that he never had in Tennessee. And hey, just saying, the Bengals have the league's best receiving tandem in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. But they are still searching for a reliable number 3 receiver to fill the shoes Tyler Boyd left behind a year ago. The big-bodied 6'2", 225-pound Burks might find his game with Joe Burrow slinging him the ball. Burks' size could actually help him draw winnable matchups, especially in the red zone. With opposing defenses, most mostly focusing on chasing Higgins. This fit seems pretty dang good for Burks to maximize his potential. Quay Walker, Buffalo Bills. The Green Bay Packers surprised everyone when they traded star wideout receiver Davante Adams to the Raiders in 2022. So, armed with a pair of first-round picks now, everyone thought that they would just address the receiver position. But, nope. They just doubled down on defense with their first-round selections by taking Georgia linebacker Quay Walker and his Bulldog teammate defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt. The Packers usually hit on their first-round picks, but Walker, ooh, he has not come at all as advertised. He has just 6.5 sacks and 1 interception in 3 seasons, and according to Pro Football Reference, Walker has allowed a 70.1 completion percentage and a passer rating of 86.5 when targeted. Yeesh, so much for being a do-it-all linebacker. With plenty of depth in their front seven, the Packers can afford to cut ties with Walker, and we can't help but get excited at the idea of him reviving his career with the Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott is one of the best defensive-minded coaches, but you know, Buffalo's defense really has not been the same since they lost Pro Bowl linebacker Tremaine Edmonds to the Chicago Bears in 2023 free agency. So, might a change of scenery and the chance to play alongside veteran stalwart Matt Milano save his career? We could certainly see it. Christian Watson, Kansas City Chiefs. The Packers thought that they were getting their new number 1 receiver after the Davante Adams trade when they selected the 6'4" speedster with the number 34 pick in 2022. Yeah, so much for that. The North Dakota State product missed 3 games in his rookie year, but still caught 41 passes for 611 yards and 9 total touchdowns. Watson was limited to 8 games in 2023, but 2024 was truly a down season, with a 29, 620, and 2 stat line. With Jaden Reed and Romeo Doubs emerging as the top 2 receivers in Green Bay, it is clear that Watson won't be a number 1 in Titletown. So hey, why not give Watson a fresh start and send him to the Kansas City Chiefs? Travis Kelce is nearing retirement, and we still don't know what KC has in Xavier Worthy. So trade for Watson and see if he can become another playmaking weapon for Patrick Mahomes, who still hasn't had a number 1 receiver since Tyreek Hill's departure. Will Levis, Las Vegas Raiders. With Cam Ward headed to Tennessee, Levis's time in Music City is officially 100% up. For the Titans, it was worth taking a chance on Levis when he slipped out of round 1 and into their hands at number 33 overall in 2023. Remember, many projections had him being a top 10 pick behind fellow QBs Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. But it's hard to like what Levis produced over his first 2 seasons. A 5-16 record with 21 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, and an average of 185.7 passing yards per game. Yeah, hence why the Titans took Ward. No NFL team is rushing to get Levis and make him a day 1 starter. But you know, the Raiders do stand out here as a landing spot for Levis for multiple reasons. Vegas just acquired former Seattle Seahawk Geno Smith and signed him to a 2-year extension. Yes, but Geno is entering his age 35 season and is not a long-term guy. Nor is there even a guarantee that he'll repeat his success outside of Emerald City. With Tom Brady, the GOAT, and Pete Carroll, a Super Bowl winning head coach there, Levis would be in a good spot to put it all together. Learning behind Smith for a season or 2 wouldn't hurt. And you know what? Sign us up for Levis throwing darts to Brock Bowers. But hey, which other recent NFL draft busts could revive their career on a new team? Were there any notable names that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or 2, then hey, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then hey, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.